more on this, I'm joined by Marlene Morris-Towns, teaching professor of marketing at Georgetown University here in Washington, D.C. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's an interesting but not new concept that you spend more money to train your athletes so they can do better at the games. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right, absolutely. And with most countries, unlike the U.S., most countries, the government pays for at least a portion of their Olympic investment. So in a sense, the government is really trying to maximize their investment. They have, their taxpayers who are shareholders in a sense. So they're looking at their portfolio of sports and looking at the ones that they expect to perform well and investing heavier in those sports.
Some people say governments sometimes spend money to sort of service the athletes to prepare them. In other countries, they have to rely on private funding, and they say that's not fair. Is that a legitimate complaint?
Well, it is one that I've heard for some time, and a lot of these athletes are really, spending every dollar that they have and are really struggling. The lucky few are sponsored or get endorsement deals, but usually that comes with the wins. So people want the medal holders to endorse their product.
We're hours away from the start of the Winter Olympics. In fact, some of the events have already begun, and a lot of people have said they spent $51 billion here in Sochi. This is a resort town who didn't see all this money, and a lot of money is poured in recent years, and a lot of people are saying, are they ever going to break even on that investment?
Well, that's always the question going in. And the hope, of course, is that they will. They garner a lot of attention. It's their chance to really be on the international stage and put their best foot forward. So, and that would hopefully translate into increased tourist dollars, things like that. I think with this Olympics, I would question more as to whether that was actually going to pay off. If you look at much of the press coverage of the Olympics thus far, it's been tainted by a lot of controversies. So
the security problems, the hotel problems, all the stuff that we've seen come across social media.
Exactly. A lot of that in recent days, and then also, the political issue with their treatment of LGBT community and things like that. So there has been a lot of negativity, and even the celebration by the Russian population here. There's an article in the Washington Post today talking about how it was a much more muted celebration than in years past. So,
will people who watch the Olympics or read about the Olympics, are they going to remember all the problems, or are they going to remember all the pretty pictures and the venues and the successes? And I'm just wondering, from experience with both Whistler, Salt Lake, and all the other, both Summer and Winter Olympics, what do people usually remember most?
I think when it's all said and done, people do come away with their memories of the competition, the sport, the opening ceremony. I think once that happens, it erases a lot of the questions or the negativity going in, and that is really kind of the pageantry of it is just kind of phenomenal, and hopefully that sets the tone for people to just get into the competitive spirit.
For these global events, I mean, this used to not be the case when I was a lot younger, but they've turned into both political and global stage events where you have tens of thousands of security officers. The impact to the economy, a lot of people are focused on this. Is it going to be a short-term impact, or is it going to be a longer-term impact in a positive fashion?
I believe it will be a longer-term impact. I think that, there's definitely an immediate hit, and it's definitely an expensive investment. But I think that the results are to be seen for years to come. I think some of the infrastructure that's been built will remain, and people will be exposed to a country, a culture, and a more modern Russia than we've known before. And so I think, hopefully for them,
As a marketing professional, I have to ask you this, because reputation is worth something.
Yes.
If the event goes well, there's goodwill that's raised. If the event doesn't go well, that's also a cost to your reputation as well. How do you measure that cost and impact?
I think, well, there are a lot of different ways to define what you mean by
Success.
Going well or not going well. Right. I think that there's a definite cost to people having a good or a poor experience. So I think that in that sense, you'll see your tourism dollars go down. If people go and have an amazing time and people say, I never knew, and they tell two friends and they tell two friends, then you see a definite boost. If something catastrophic were to happen, which hopefully will not be the case, then I think we're talking a really, really huge hit.
The irony of it all is, in the days before technology, it would be word of mouth.
Right.
Then social media came about, but it's still the same. It's still the word of mouth that gets around, whether or not things were successful, whether the hotel room was clean or you had a good experience. And I wonder, do Olympic officials and those folks in Russia or any other place that are hosting the Olympics, are they very cognizant of that fact that it's it's a PR games as well.
Yes, absolutely. And social media makes it instant. So, and details that people may not have thought to transmit via word of mouth, 10, 20 years ago, the condition of a hotel room is worthy of an instant tweet, or a bad experience at the airport will be tweeted out on a moment's notice.
Do you think, before we came on the show, I was watching some of the network coverage on the Olympics, and a lot of it was focused on security. Has the global media overdone it on the security problems? Have we been unfair to what the Olympics should be?
I don't think so. I think that it's something that people are worried about, people are concerned about, or at least curious about. So I think that if it were not to be covered, that in itself might cause concern. I think that, and I've watched particularly NBC's coverage, and I think that they're trying to present all angles and present, what people are interested in, but also put the most positive face forward. And so I think overall, I don't think that too much has been made of it, because I think that it is what people are wondering about.
One final note, we can't forget the fact that there's a lot of advertising involved, not just in the United States, but around the world, whichever network that they're distributing the content for. How much do advertisers focus on this one Olympics to increase their sales, and is it worth the money when they spend it?
Tremendously, and yes, I believe that it is. It is a huge global stage. So for a company, especially that has a global presence, is trying to go global, this is one of the few instances where you have such viewership around the world, and you can really kind of get your brand out there and get it noticed and reinforce it in a great atmosphere of friendly competition.
Marlene Morris-Towns, thank you very much, teaching us about Olympics and marketing from Georgetown University Business School. Thank you very much.